Hey gamers, gaming tech enthusiasts, we have the brand new Sony PlayStation 5 Slim here. Yes, if you've been following the channel for a little while, you know that I am caught in a perpetual loop of indecision between continuing to use my 4090 Mac truck super powerful gaming PC and console. I'm just jonesing to play Spider-Man 2. I platinumed Spider-Man 1. Super Marvel comics in general, superhero fan. I wish Sony would just go day and date on PC already, but they don't. I don't know that I can wait a year or two for Spider-Man. I'm not going to be able to wait a year or two for Wolverine. I think that there's going to be hopefully an awesome PS5 Pro coming next fall. This can get me by, but in any case, we got it. We're going to try it out. So this is more, I want to talk about this more in the context of like just, I guess, a simple PS5 Slim unboxing. There's all kinds of channels out there that are kind of blowing that out. Of course, you know, Techthusiasm is a little more of a home theater experience, vlog type style discussion. And so my interest is to talk about the PlayStation 5 in the context of using it in a home theater setup, gaming, a high-end living room setup, and all of that. So suffice to say, we got the new model. They were right in stock at Best Buy on Friday. Ordered it right online, went and picked it up, in-store pickup. $500. I did go with the disc version. It is interesting that like the digital version was nowhere to be found. Digital PS5s actually have been really nowhere to be found for a little while now. And even some of the other retailers here in the US didn't seem to even have this on Friday, like Amazon and whatnot. But Best Buy had them. They had them in stock. There's I think a Modern Warfare, a Call of Duty style bundle. And then there's of course the Spider-Man 2 bundle. That's what I wanted to grab because if I do end up keeping this long term enough, I'm going to be playing Spider-Man 2 guaranteed. So I might as well get the game with it. $500 gets you now the disc version of the console plus a packing game. So not altogether a bad deal. We're going to open this up and take a look at it in a second. But I did go, I got everything else. So the whole family, if we make this transition again and it sticks, we'll be playing together. What is this? The Cobalt Blue, I think, and Volcano Red style controllers. I always like having different color controllers. That way everybody in the family has their own. So we'll have a white, a red, a blue, and then of course for Dad, we've got the DualSense Edge controller. Man, I love this thing. For the time that I had it, the last time that I bought a PS5, I think this is actually now a superior controller to the Microsoft Xbox Elite controller. I like having one set of paddles. I like the nubs. I like how you can set up the profiles in the PlayStation OS for different games and how it switches between them a little bit better than the Xbox style as well. So we'll be good here. One console, 4 controllers. If I do keep this long term, I will be adding SSD storage to it as well. I think it'll be very easy to throw like a 4 terabyte drive in there at a minimum, and then have up to 5 terabytes of game storage, because I think they did increase the usable storage of the SSD in the model here. So let's open it up. We'll take a first look. I don't know even what this is. This is probably like the 6th. All right, so I've had a few of these over time. I do like the nice, the new form factor, the Slim form factor, although I'd rather be spending more money on a Pro right now. Power cable, 2-prong with the standard style connector there. So many boxes have always been a little tough to get in and out of. Got the new stands, these little little clear plastic pieces, little nubs. If you go horizontal, that's what you set the system up with. I'm a little bummed as well that they didn't include a way to stand it up vertically in the box, but I won't actually need it anyway. USB-C to USB-C style cable. One of the nice things with the new console, there is 2 USB-C plugs on the front, and then we've got an HDMI cable included. And then of course the regular style DualSense, not an Edge. Be nice with the Pros if they start including a DualSense Edge, our regular PlayStation controller that we've had for a while now. Looks like this actually, it almost feels like it had a little panel alignment issue, but I think it is what it's supposed to be. To dig in a little further, get to the main event. Pull this out. Nice and easy. A little cardboard side packaging there. A little bit of a wrap. And then we'll talk a little bit more about it. So this does look very nice. So it's smaller, smaller volume, lighter, Morse Belt. I don't mind the little kind of like racing line that we have in there. Again, now we've got two USB-Cs on the front with the power button. Again, I did get the disc version. It's almost kind of like a might as well get it with the way that they priced it. The digital version is not $100 cheaper. It's only $50 cheaper, but again, getting a game pack in and whatnot. On the back, we've got our HDMI, our Ethernet, two USB-As, and a power connector. So I think you do got to be a little careful. There's some vents at the bottom if you are going to stand it vertical. You may want to make sure that it's elevated a little bit on a stand, just in case those are intaking air. But we take in a lot of air on the back anyway. I won't be buying a stand. Again, if this goes in the living room, right, it's going behind the television on that hide-it mount that's been sitting back there for nigh on, what, a couple years now, that I installed for when the PlayStation 5 first shipped. So these panels are supposed to clip on and off. I believe there's still ways to buy like custom panels and stuff if you want to. The disk drive is of course modular and now does require online activation. I know a lot of people like cry about the idea of online activation, but honestly, except in a very specific situation, is anybody not going to actually connect their system online, even for a minimal amount? In my opinion, you want to be online with a console like this. Even if you don't play online, there's online services, having your games backed up to the cloud, like all these other features make sense. Put your consoles online, unless you're gaming somewhere where that's not a tenable thing for you. And in some situations, I guess I can understand that, but for the majority use case, it's going to work out just fine, I think. So yeah, this is looking pretty nice. So again, my interest here is that I really want to play the newer Sony games when they come out. I don't want to risk waiting a year or possibly even two to play games like Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine and other things that are coming and may come next from Sony. I'm jonesing for a Pro. I really hope we see a Pro in 2024. I have no problem buying this right now, selling it 1 year from now next fall, and happily giving Sony $700-800 of my money for a real high-end Pro console that will run games in 4K resolution, real 4K resolution, 60 FPS, and all of that with nice settings and good quality, good looking quality. And then give me a PS6 in 2026, please. That would be my ideal roadmap for these consoles. But my whole interest here is trying to have one console serve both of my zones, because I really want to be able to game in the living room, but I also want to be able to game in the theater. I've made all these awesome theater upgrades, got the super comfortable audio advice chairs. The audio performance of the room is top notch right now, and I'm working on it. I'm really working on hopefully most likely a JVC NZ level. One of them, we'll see which one TBD, but a JVC NZ projector upgrade so that we can run 4K 120, not to try to run this underpowered console at 120 frames per second, but to actually be able to use the 120 hertz 40 FPS modes, which for right now, at least until the Pro comes, I think is the best combination of graphical fidelity and performance that you're going to get in a consoleized package. We'll see how this does on the splitter. I got that EasyQ splitter right now. It's sitting on the PC. Down from the storage area, the AV rack area, we were splitting the PC to the theater and to the living room. I'm going to take the splitter off the PC. We're going to put the PlayStation upstairs in the living room, run the splitter up there, and then route one of the splitter outputs to the TV for the living room zone, route the other output of the splitter down to the rack into the AVM90, and we'll be able to have this stationed in the living room. Good controller reliability, wireless response and reliability, as well as consistent HDMI video and audio output, always there using the splitter. Dolby Atmos will work in both zones, even though the living room is 2.2. That will work consistently well. We don't need to worry about Dolby Vision or anything, just regular old HDR. The only thing I need now, essentially, to kind of complete the video, to bring the home theater more on par with the living room, is that NZ projector. Again, so we've got HDMI 2.1 and 120 hertz refresh rate. Of course, the projectors don't do VRR, but honestly, I think like VRR is a little overrated for these consoles. Granted, some of the newer games do come with VRR modes where they can run unlocked frame rates in that, but I think even looking at some of the recommendations for how to use the graphical settings in Spider-Man and so on, you're usually better off probably still keeping the console at a fixed FPS anyway. Again, targeting 30 if you want, targeting 60 ideally, or targeting 40 if you can do it. And that doesn't require VRR to clean anything up. So while the TV, the LG in the living room supports VRR, it won't matter that the projector doesn't support VRR for the console. Again, as long as we can do 120 hertz, 40 FPS game modes. For the PC, it matters a little bit more because there we have more, say, capability to run a bit unlocked. Go ahead and let frame rates run up to 80, 90, 100 FPS or whatever using VRR, because we really can't get all the games to a fixed 120 solid level of performance. But that will do the ticket there. So we can put the HDMI splitter in the right EDID mode to support 4K 120, to support HDR, to support Dolby Atmos. And the PlayStation will be nice and fixed on a consistent HDMI connected link, always being able to output the same stuff, being able to set it up one time in the menus and have it always work. And again, I'll have what I'm looking for, which is the ability to walk back and forth between both zones, grab my controller upstairs, walk downstairs with my controller and my remote, turn on the home theater, and be able to instantly play. And having one console driving all of that is a lot better than having two, which is another way that I could have solved this problem. I could have had a PlayStation upstairs, I could have had a PlayStation for the theater, but that's going to be a lot more money, especially if I want to play with an edge in both zones. I'm buying a lot more controllers, or I have to use single controllers and manage syncing them all around. It's buying two systems, it's buying potentially two SSD expansions, it's managing two systems with updates and downloads and game updates and all that sort of thing. And it breaks the ability to take advantage, I think, of one of the best features of console versus PC, which is quick resume. Quite honestly, I don't game nearly as much as I might otherwise, because gaming on the PC comes with it a startup delay. Waking the PC up, and sometimes waking up from sleep isn't always ideal. Sometimes it needs to be restarted. It has a different type of update application and so on than a console does. Waiting for that, waiting for games to always boot entirely from scratch versus being able to, again, to just grab a controller and jump right back into a game immediately within seconds of where you left off. Looking back on my gaming as a parent, as somebody that has essentially two jobs, and other responsibilities and things to do. Again, instant access, a few second access to being back in a game for 20 minutes to knock out a mission, knock out a couple side missions, have a little bit of fun. That level of accessibility isn't possible on PC. So there's a number of functional, logistical, ease of use and access items that really, really make me want to be the console gamer. Really the only thing that keeps me, my mind and my heart pulling back to PC is graphical fidelity. And again, Sony can solve that with a massively awesome PS5 Pro and a quick follow-up with a really great PlayStation 6 coming in short order. We'll see what happens with that. I've got good hope and faith that I think that will happen. A couple of other benefits as well. Gaming for the family, everybody just accessing the consoles is a lot simpler. Everybody can have individual PlayStation accounts, which are already set up from the times when I've had it before, meaning that everybody can log into their own things, they can have their own save games, and there's some individuality there as my kids start to get older, play more things a little more autonomously, whereas on the PC, I don't mess with multiple users, multiple accounts, sharing things and stuff like that. That would be a total pain. So the computer logs in as me, Steam logs in as me, it's all my profile, it's all my save games. My son and I were going to get this thing hooked up in the living room. Check out just the last prior video. We pulled a whole bunch of new HDMI cables, RUI Pro, 33-foot length fiber optic HDMI 2.1 cables from the rack to the living room. Now I've got cables going in one direction and I've got a cable coming back in the other direction, meaning, again, this can go where I want it to go. I can split the signal, I can use it in both zones, and everything will work perfectly like that. One other thing, actually, I just want to make mention that I'm still jonesing for. Eventually, at some point, I would like to have it, who knows, maybe it'll be a 2024 Techthusiasm endeavor as well, is I would really like to have an arcade cabinet kind of stand up upright for at least 2 players. So we can sit down there with real arcade controls at an arcade unit and play fighting games, play Street Fighter 6 and play some other classic arcade games. And I think that's another instance where, for the sake of interface, hardware setup, usability, ease of access, it would be a lot easier to just make that thing also be PlayStation based rather than PC based. Granted, PC would play a lot more emulators. However, I think there's plenty of stuff available on the PlayStation 5. And from a fighting game perspective, I think this platform is pretty much the gold standard for fighters nowadays. With any of the fighting games that we would want to play available there, it would give you easy access to online play and other things like that. So my friend, all about TKK, Kenneth, he's ahead of the game. He's down the road further than me on this kind of idea with his Chulix and Vulix cabinets and all that. That's exactly what I want to set up essentially with ideally a PlayStation 5 as the brain of that setup. I've had arcade cabinets in the past. I had a Neo Geo MVS for a long time. And it's been a while since I've had one, and that's something else that I would really like to be able to enjoy and share with my kids and my son, build that thing up together and get all of that running. Stay tuned to the channel. Again, I'll be updating as well on kind of how all of this integration goes, revisiting my thoughts on console versus PC, pontificating in future live stream podcasts and all that. Thanks so much for watching. Please do all that regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, leave those comments. What'd you think of Spider-Man 2 if you've already played it by this point? And if you'd like to support the channel, check down in the description. Shop with all my affiliates, Audio Advice, Amazon, SVS, a whole bunch and more down there. And if you need any special help, like procuring any hi-fi home theater equipment, do reach out to me. I can help you. I can put you in touch with the right people for your needs. Hopefully score you some awesome Techthusiasm deals. I've actually been doing more and more of that with folks. So never feel reserved to reach out for some help. Maybe I can help you out and get a hold of some stuff in a very advantaged way. Let's say that. Thanks so much for watching. Coming back for more home theater discussion and fun.